I'm Ben Grosscup, and I'm a songwriter and a song leader. And my music is really born out of my activism. As a young person, I was 17 years old in 1999. I went to the World Trade Organization protest that took place on November 30th of that year. And it was a transformative experience for me as a young person. I felt part of the collective of affinity groups that were organized to shut down downtown Seattle in a systematic way, each affinity group taking responsibility to physically block delegates of the World Trade Organization, this global organization run by global capitalist interests, to physically block their entrance to this ministerial meeting that was taking place in the city that day. There was a sacrifice involved in being part of this collective. The sacrifice was facing the tear gas of the police. That's what I remember experiencing. My nervous system seizing up as the CS gas came into my respiratory system, and I felt the power of a medic team that was there, ready to administer to me the baking soda solution that my eyes needed in order to be able to see again. And as I received this very important treatment, I was re-energized and able to continue protesting. There was a sense of something was being asked of all of us that day to confront the injustice of a corporate-run world that pays so little care to the needs of human beings and the needs of ecosystems. So, these days, I continue with that activism, participating in movements confronting U.S. military aggression against Venezuela, Iran, often singing at demonstrations, singing at protests against the terrorism of ICE being inflicted on particularly immigrant communities, but all kinds of people around the United States, and being part of struggles of workers fighting for better pay, better staffing at their hospitals, particularly with nurses. And, in all these kinds of places, you see a real palpable sense of anger. That's a very prominent emotion at protests these days. And if anyone's been to a protest, you've probably seen that anger is most commonly expressed through the chant, saying something kind of in a shouty way, something that needs to be said. And I would never judge anyone for the way they're expressing their anger. I don't want to police the way people express their anger in the face of all of these grave injustices. But I do think that song particularly is powerful in channeling that anger in an effective way. One of the things that's really great about song is that it bypasses the defenses that a lot of people in our society have developed in order to protect themselves from other people's anger. I know a lot of my friends who, when I get angry, for instance, about the genocide in Gaza, don't want to hear about that anger, find it scary in some way. And music sometimes, not all the time, can bypass the defenses people have developed to not have to look at the ugliness of global capitalism, the ugliness of racism and state repression. I think when I was there as a young person at the WTO protest, I felt that there was a real reason to sacrifice. And I felt like I need a way to connect my mind, which really holds my political horizon, my sense of what's possible for political change, with my heart, where my anger lives, where my love lives. And if I can also connect that to my body, which is really the place of feeling a sense of humanity while I'm there at the protest, it's all much stronger. And I have seen song, particularly in the last year since the Trump administration came back into power, be a very commonly used tool for protests. I'm seeing more and more that when I get invited to protests, I'm not the only singer who's there, but also there are others as well. And I think that there's a sense that people need to find a way out of the despair that they're experiencing. And that song is one vehicle to get out of the mess, because it connects all these points in the human being, mind, the heart, and the body.